welcome you. My name is Franco DeNicola, and I wanted to take this opportunity at this time to spend a little bit of time to kind of review a few things. Because many of us are experiencing many, many challenges in our own lives, and we're starting to see that not only are there challenges, but the world starts to seem more and more crazy. And that we're not only talking about what's happening all around us, which there is many, many things taking place, and a lot of things that are pushing us to the max, and it seems to be quite unbalanced. But at the same time, what's happening with us, how we're feeling about things, how we are starting to feel more and more confused, starting to go in different directions, starting to realize a lot of the things that we've put a lot of value, time in, and importance and so forth are changing. Not only changing away from us and coming into our lives, but also how we perceive it, feel about it, and how much energy we want to engage in any part of it. We're also noticing in our relationships and our connections with other people, the various things that we get exposed to are starting to become more sensitive for us. So there's a lot going on at this time, and a lot of us don't even really understand how we actually function, how we came about, what our purposes are, and so forth. So there's many, many, many things that are being challenged at this time. Here we are, we enter 2019. It is the second phase of change, which is the most dramatic amount of change because this is going to be more concrete than ever before. Even though 2018 was the first year of the theme change, and 2019, the second part, prepare us again for 2020. So in essence, what's happened, there was a lot of work being done on 2018 on a personal level to make adjustments, changes, and so forth. And there have been energies, there's been various opportunities for us to take a look at our lives and so forth. Now we're stepping into 2019, and here we are about the middle of February, and here we are going forward. And at this point in time, we're also realizing that things are starting to feel that even more dramatic when it comes to changes. But not only the changes within ourselves, but also in our environment and also within our systems at this time. So to facilitate all of this, and because of the confusion and everything else, I took the opportunity to create a workshop. It's an online workshop, and it's called Navigating and Utilizing the Changes in 2019. The reason we've done this is to facilitate in ways where you have a deeper understanding, you have various tools to resort to and to utilize so that you can run through this life very, very much more smoothly. See, the old analogy is that we don't grow without pain, or if we don't experience polarity and so forth, that we don't actually make progress. As much as that was the case because of our resistance and so forth that was taking place before, that is not the case right now. The case right now is that we do not require any of that. We can actually move through the various experiences with much more ease. Now, we say, well, okay, I'm experiencing all these intensities and so forth, and I'm, going through a lot of challenges on my own, and I can't seem to find a way to move through it, or a lot of my programs and emotional charges are coming up and so forth, and how do I utilize that to move forward? So in essence, this particular workshop will help you address a lot of it, and that's the purpose of the workshop. It is coming up this Saturday on the 23rd, which will start at 11 a.m. till about 5 p.m. There'll be breaks, of course, in between, and that is Eastern time. If you're in Pacific time, you're looking at 8 a.m. till about 2 p.m., and that will be the time. Now, what are we going to cover? Because there's as much as we've put out information out there, what we're going to cover, a lot of times it's hard to understand and to read every part of it. So I'm taking this opportunity to go through all the things that will be covered this coming Saturday for you. Now, if you choose to participate, we're going to be covering a lot of information that will be highly, highly beneficial for you in moving forward and moving through this 2019 and all that's going to unfold in much more ease. So what are some of the things that we're going to be covering? One of the things is the importance of the moment and being in the moment, being present wherever you are and whatever is taking place in your life. And we're going to actually start that off with that, being in the moment, and also letting go of all the stuff that led up to this moment so that you can go through the process of being present while we're in the event and also through your life. We will be doing an actual process to facilitate that. So we're not just going to talk about it. We're going to actually do a process, and that's how we're going to start. The next area we're going to cover, we're going to take a look at 2018 and what took place to get us ready for 2019, how the differences are, and what has actually occurred where we thought that maybe we're going crazy or that things are falling apart, but in actual fact, how it actually served and brought us to the point where we are able to move forward into 2019. We'll also talk about the preparation and how it plays a very powerful role in how you choose moving forward at this point in time. The other area we're going to also look at is a deeper look and understanding of what's taking place in 2019, the various stages of things that are going to unfold, how it affects us, what engagement we will have, what choices we have to play with it, and how we can actually utilize all of that so that actually we can flourish more than we ever flourished before. The next thing we'll be also taking a look at is a shift from 3D to 5D and how that actually influences us and the choices we have between that and how we see things in the 3D world and the 5D world. But not only that, also we'll cover all different ways to become more on an operating state from a fifth dimensional conscious rather than just operating in the 3D, which we have been doing. Now, we have to understand that all of us have had little bits and tastes of fifth dimensional consciousness, depending on how much focus you have on the way you're doing things, that you may have spent more time, and when I say more time, not in the ratio of being more to 3, but more time into 5D versus others that would only have very short visits and so forth. So the 3D is really what we're playing off, but that's being wrapped up and we're moving from fourth to fifth. So in essence, fourth is actually only a bridge. So we're going to be covering all of that and going into details. And also how it will personally and globally affect the shift between third and fifth. And I know people have talked about it and so forth, but we're going to go into a little bit more details, some tools about it, and how to actually move through it. The other thing is the importance of connecting to your higher self, okay? I mean, we talk about higher self. What is that? That is that conscious part of you. It's the part of you that actually navigates this experience, but it's the part of you that is not limited to only a physicality and only this localized experience of a body and your mind and your experiences. It has the wealth of consciousness and information and knowledge of who you truly are from a perspective of coming in as a source being that has taken on a human experience. So you can see that comes in very powerful in facilitating us moving forward. And that is part of the 5D movement, is becoming more conscious of who you are, but actually using that knowing as part of upgrading our human experience and our planetary experience. So in that, we're also going to do a process to facilitate that. So we're not just going to talk about it. We're going to give you tools around that, but we're going to actually do a process live at the same time. The other thing is to releasing the 3D and inverted matrix. I mean, you know, how can we do it? How can we release the 3D? How can we actually create enough of a shift within ourselves so that we can actually put the 3D to rest that is no longer required at this point in time? But not only that, we're also going to look at the inverted matrix. I mean, a lot of you have heard, because of the movie The Matrix and so forth, that we have a matrix and that we're living in a matrix. But we have two matrices, and we will cover that. We have the original natural matrix, which each and every planet has, but we also have an inverted matrix. And a lot of people don't think and understand that the matrix is actually driving every facet of our experience at this point, including the way we think, feel, respond, and so forth. And not only that, that we actually have an artificial intelligence built in us as an operating system that is totally connected to this inverted matrix, which we call the ego. And we will cover more of that and how to actually shift from it. The next thing is we're embracing change without fear. I mean, the big thing with all of us is that when we have change coming into our life, or some of the things that we've attached to and held on to starts to come out of our experience, then we go into this automatic fear. Change becomes an equation for, change becomes an equation for fear. And fear ends up being a situation where we go into an automatic response, and then we freeze, and we are also afraid to take steps forward. Instead of embracing, we retreat. And that is something that we will play with and do some exercises around that so that we are going to embrace change without the fear. The next part is what's in store for 2019. We will go into a little bit more detail how things will unfold, your role in it, how it's going to take place and affect you in ways that are going to be very beneficial, because there is no choice that you can make that you make an actual error, but at the same time, our choices deeply affect what part of our reality and experience we choose to engage. It also affects also our parallel worlds that we are experiencing within ourselves. This will be explained and covered and played with so that we can actually be more and more prepared for us to go through all of this. And when I say all of this, in a very light, playful way. And that's the whole purpose of this. We're also going to take a glimpse of 2020 and how it will shape and how we will be experiencing 2020 and beyond, because it's not only 2020, there's a 10-year window of all of these changes that occur from 2020 on. But we're going into a completely different sort of what we call a newer world, a newer experience, a newer reality. Now, that does not mean that we step into it and everything changes. We're stepping into it and we feel more at home, but we're also still going through the process of evolving, enlightening, and changing and shifting every aspect of ourselves so that we can move forward with much more ease, but also to embrace every part of it and enjoy the experience. Because this is why you're here. You're not here by mistake. You're not here because you got sent here and thrown here and convinced otherwise. You are here because you knew what was going to take place. You are wanting to participate. How far you participate, what you utilize, and what you do with it is really up to you. But if we have the tools, we have the understanding, which is already within you. But what we're doing is we're going to work together to activate it so that you could utilize it more than ever before. The other thing is we're going to do a process of releasing the past. I mean, the past has served, has brought us where we are today. We have experienced every aspect of it, and we are who we are because of our past. And when I say the past, those are just the steps we have taken. It's not that we are the past or that we are any experience that we had. So we're going to go through that because carrying the past with us actually affects us tremendously at this point in time, how we project forward step by step. So it's either we're in the moment, creating each moment and let go of the past. And really, what are we talking about letting go of the past? Is it the actual experience that we're letting go? Or is it the perception, labels, and definitions that we have applied to it, which also carries an emotional charge? That's the part we're letting go. We're letting go of the emotional charges. We're letting go of the labels we've given it, the definitions we've given it, and any trauma that we've attached to it and so forth. What was right, what was wrong, what was good, what was bad. That's the part that we're letting go in that process. The other part we're going to look at is how to communicate with people in a genuine state, not through programs and emotion. This is a huge one because a lot of us, when we are engaging with people and communicating, we're not communicating from our genuine self. It is not that part of you that is actually that playful, light experienced person that wants to engage and actually is open to listen, open to share, rather than going into a program of default response, emotional charges, reactions, right to wrong, good, bad, feeling all of these emotions coming up. And the best part of it is that we drag the whole past of our experiences before into that communication. And this is one of the things that we're going to play with and address so that we are coming from a genuine aspect of ourselves rather than these responses and emotional programs and so forth. Also navigating from a higher perspective, not looking at our lives any longer only at one level. That is from the mind perspective, from what you've been programmed and conditioned. We start to look at life from a higher perspective, from a source essence in this human experience. And bringing that consciousness in, then you could actually utilize more of the experience to advance you, to actually create an environment that is so much more pleasant to play with and is actually more enriching and advancing in every way, shape, and form. So you can see the advantage of all of that. And we're going to play with that and express it even further. The other thing is the importance of grounding to self. And that is something that we are going to do a process. And, we talk about grounding. We're talking about grounding to planet Earth, grounding to various other things that we expose ourselves to. But we're going to talk about and we're going to play with grounding with ourself. Because what happens when you're grounding with your higher aspects of yourself, you're now tapping into the very essence of your beingness, the sourceness that you are. That way, no matter what is happening around you, you're not affected in any way negatively or feeling that in somehow you are losing your balance because of it. By grounding with your highest aspects of yourself, you are now a very solid, powerful creator that views yourself as a creation and is also at the same time the observer of the creation and the observer of that reality and so forth, and navigate completely from that point of view rather than our automatic default response, which is trying to ground with things because we feel that we have to ground to something. Well, we do, but we ground with ourselves. That aligns us also why we're here, what we're here to do, and so forth. The next thing we're going to look at is following a passion. We talk about this a lot. People talk about it a lot, following a passion and so forth. This is becoming more important for 2019. It's becoming more important for you because in essence, when we are tuning into our passion and being driven by our passion, we are actually enjoying our journey and we are doing more of what really aligns with us. And that is always constantly changing, but it's changing in ways that actually makes us feel nurtured all the way through. We're not no longer doing a job or whatever that may be because of duty, because of responsibility, because of whatever we're told and have been believed to live. That is not what we're going to navigate. We're going to navigate from our passion, the stuff that we love to do. And I know that's confusing because a lot of us have lost the whole idea of what we actually love to do because we've been so disconnected from it for so long that now it seems like we have to find ourselves and so forth. So we're going to do a bit of that and play with that also at the workshop. The other thing is the importance of being yourself. That is huge, being yourself. But realistically, how many of us really know what that means? Because in essence, being myself a lot of times is associated with the idea, this is me. Well, a lot of times when you say that and when you start using that as a reference point, what are we referring to? Are we referring to the true nature of who you are? Or are we looking at your programs, what you have been conditioned to believe you are? That is the part that we have to distinguish and shift so that you actually become your true self, who you are, and allow your life to be directed in that way rather than what we've believed is who we are. Because right now, many, many people are being challenged and pushed to the max to kind of question their journey, their life, what they've put importance in, because of the fact that we are shifting away from what our programmed idea was of life to one of really being our true, authentic self. And that is key, and we will also play with that. The next thing we're going to look at is how people are going to feel if shifting or not. Because some people will choose to shift and other people will not choose to shift. And it's not really about the work that we've done. That becomes a part of it. But really from a core essence, do I want to be part of the 3D experience or do I want to carry on the fifth dimensional consciousness? Now, there's a difference too in how we're going to experience 2019 because of it. So if you're choosing not to shift in any way, shape, or form, you will have various experiences that you'll have in your life, which will look very similar to what you've been living up to this point in time, except a little bit more accentuated. If you're choosing to shift, there's two other components that you will experience. One component is that you're going to feel extremely pushed to make changes in your life and to step up to that beingness that you want to be and be part of this fifth dimensional consciousness and activating every aspect of it. And the other part of it is if you already made a lot of changes already in your life, you're going to feel supported. You may still have a few things coming in, but you'll feel supported through the journey. So this is also very key and instrumental that you will see the difference between moving as part of the shift or not. Regardless, you're shifting, you're not getting away with the shifting in one way or another. However, is what role you participate in and what part are you going to give power to it will depend on you. And when I say you, we're not talking about here, we're talking about here, your higher self, and what it has to work with to move through this. And this is what we're going to also play with. The next thing we're going to look at, a look at change in relationships. And of course, a lot of you already started noticing there's shifting in relationships taking place every day. First part of the relationship is our relationship with ourselves. And the next part is the relationship with our bodies, our minds, relationship with significant people in our lives, being either siblings, children, our partners, and so forth, or lovers, whatever you want to call it, but also relationship within the family dynamics, extending further into your work relationship. You're talking about relationship with other people and so forth. All of that is shifting, but also the shifting of the relationship with nature and the planet itself. All of that is being addressed, looked at, and moved forward at this point in time. So we will look at also the component about relationships because it plays a huge, huge role for us. The next thing that we're looking at is what is true compassion and how is it instrumental? A lot of people say we have to have compassion for ourselves, for others. And really to understand what true compassion is not what we've been led to believe. It's not about seeing anybody in one way versus another way and having compassion for them. It is a deeper compassion, and we're going to talk about that, and we're going to go into it much more deeper and also play with that through some of the processes that we're going to be doing. The next part is how to view people around us. And this is another thing, is that how we will view people, because right now sometimes people are irritating you, or that the fact you feel so out of place around people, about doing your day-to-day life and being around all the different energies. So we will look at all of that, how to utilize it, how to actually shift from it so that it doesn't affect you in a negative way, it does not impact you in a way, it does not take your energy away, and actually you can see it as a movie and flourish through it, even though we're going to experience what may look like quite a bit of chaos at times. The other thing we're going to look at the stuff that's coming up for us and how it comes about with the connection. So in essence, we're going to look at all the programs that are coming up, all the different things that play out, why they're coming up, how to deal with it, how to clear it, how to actually allow ourselves to be able to notice it as an observer, not to see ourselves broken or anything of that nature. Because of these things coming up, we're going to see the opportunity that we have within it so that we can actually utilize it in such a powerful way. Because realistically, what are we doing? We're letting go of all the programs and belief systems and so forth that we have taken on and carried up to this point in time that may have helped us in many, many ways along the way to become who we are today. However, now, if we want to step into fifth dimensional consciousness, you cannot carry any of that. Those programs were all created, all sustained, all supported in one way or another and nurtured from a 3D perspective, from an inverted matrix perspective. And that's what the part we're letting go of so that we can actually enter the fifth dimensional consciousness. We're also going to take an overview of life and how we move forward through it. And again, this program here has been made for you. This workshop has been made for you to help you facilitate. Many of us are saying, I don't have all the answers. I do not have the tools for it, and I feel alone. I feel that I don't have the support and so forth. And this is what the workshop will do. With the workshop, we also have other things that we'll be providing, which we will be talking about at the workshop, that will give you even further support. For example, we also have a bi-weekly call-in that we will also announce at that point in time if you'd like to involve, where you actually connect with other people, and that we will share various things along the way. But we don't have to cover all of that right now. We will talk about it at the workshop. Now, all I'm saying, this is yours. This is your opportunity. This has been made for you. It's not for me. I know the information already. I can play with this anytime, and I do. However, this is for you to allow yourself, because the only reason that you're listening to this, the only reason that you're going to share this, the only reason that you are even going to entertain the idea of joining us is because the fact that you are ready to make a shift within yourself. And you've been asking for, in one way or another, how can I get the tools? How can I get the support? How could I have a deeper understanding? I'm not going to share anything that you don't already know from within. However, I'm going to activate that through our workshop so that you can actually have more access to it. Will facilitate you moving forward more than ever before. So that's what we're doing. And as much as some of these things may have been covered, we will take it to the next level. And anybody that's followed my work before realizes and understands how deep we go and how far we go and so forth. And as you become more advanced, more open to it, there will be much more for you to facilitate yourself as you move forward. This is a playground and schoolyard you came to play with. Your physicality is your vehicle. Your mind is your computer. Your soul is the beingness of soul sourceness that exists, that is also operating your body. You have a human entity which has complete understanding, relationship of the human experience in all its past lives. You have past lives from souls, past lives from human entities. You have your own current life from the moment you're born till now, which also becomes somewhat of a past life. So you have all of that. At this point in time, all I can say, do whatever you can to not miss this opportunity for this workshop coming up this Saturday, the 23rd of February. If you cannot, for any reason, be with us, please order the video recordings. We will record all of it with all the processes and everything else. And you can also expect to get all the replays of it with also audios that can be made available for you too. So the audios will also be able to utilize when you're doing tasks that you cannot be in front of a computer or television or whatever else to do this work. And it is beneficial for you to actually repeat it time to time to give you more support as you continue to move forward. So this is not just a one-time deal. You will be able to utilize these tools as you move along. And you can use it as a reference point and so forth. We made the workshop extremely inexpensive to make sure that we will not restrict people from having the opportunity to be there. Most people have said, you're crazy for all that you're covering. You should be charging a lot more. People are not going to value it. The value is in what you get out of it. This is for you. This is what you get out of it, how it affects you moving forward. So we made it inexpensive so others can, people can enjoy or utilize this this workshop. We have two tiers to it. One tier is the live stream with all the audio and video recordings that we'll get as a package. The second package will be just the video and audio recordings, and that will be available a few days after the event. Same thing with any recordings for the live stream. But if you're with us with the live stream, it's interactive, so you can even ask questions. You can share comments. You can see what other people are saying on the comments and so forth, and also receive answers that other people will ask the questions, so that we can actually cater and shape that whole workshop towards whatever you need to flourish and move forward. Don't miss it, whatever you do. And the other thing I suggest very strongly is to share it with others. The more of us that come together and make a shift within ourselves, the more powerfully and more quickly we will make a shift on a planetary level. That means a lot of the things that we are wanting to see change in our lives will come more into effect as we step up and make those differences together, because this is not for us to do alone. And this is one of the things with the workshop. We are coming together to do this. And the more of us that are also involved will facilitate each other even more powerfully. So besides globally, it affects us more profoundly in person. So I thank you for listening and for the opportunity to look at if this is for you. Because if you are willing to make a shift in your life and you are requiring or are desiring, in a way or another, some tools to help you move through it, all of these experiences I am sharing will help you immensely, but it also triggers, really the most important part, triggers who you are, and also facilitate you in every way possible to advance in ways that you haven't been able to before. So thank you again. So hopefully we see you this Saturday for this upcoming workshop. Thank you again, and it's called Navigating and Utilizing the Changes in 2019. Before I go, I just wanted to mention below the video in the description, you'll see 3 links taking you to various places. The first link will take you to the event registration page, which will have further details and also the opportunity for you to register for the workshop and also to order your video recordings. If you are joining us for the live stream, you automatically get the video audio recordings. If you cannot attend and you're going to just want the recordings, you can also go to the same link and you can just purchase the recordings, the video and audio recordings. If you are watching this afterwards and you want to purchase the recordings after the time of the event completing, then the second link will take you to another page where you can order the video and audio recordings also. And it is exactly the same price for everything. It's just that once the event is over, the first link does not have any more access to purchasing the recording. The third link will take you to a global meditation that I did last Saturday, which actually has a beautiful, powerful meditation that activates and utilizes the energies that have come through. So if you haven't had the chance to go through it or to experience it, please use that link and it'll take you. It's no charge. You can actually utilize if you want to provide a contribution at some point in time. The link is on there too, but that's entirely up to you. We'd like to offer it and make it available for everyone. Please share all of it at this point in time. So anyways, I just wanted to add those on before I close this quick video. Thank you.